Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Bleeding Crypto's 15-minute market update. Today is Monday, August 19th, 9:30 a.m. local time. Hope you're having a good day, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Let me start off by giving my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, for your fantasy paper trading. All right, guys, so what I want to do here is continue to look at the chart that we've been looking at on this on these update videos that I do for you guys on Twitter. Keep in mind that I am still on vacation. I'm heading back today, so I'll be back tomorrow for my regular scheduled time. Normally, I give these updates a little bit earlier. However, I am still on vacation, which is why you haven't heard from me in a few days as well. But I told you guys that last week before I left as well. So let's take a look at what's going on. So far, here we are putting in, like I mentioned on the post, I put a post a little while ago that on the higher time frames, we are putting in some bull divergences. So if you look at the MACD, you're going to see price action is slowly ticking down while momentum is ticking higher. So this type of price action, this type of price action with this type of momentum, these types of divergences, generally, not always, do lead to higher prices. As a matter of fact, all you have to do is just look to the left. Look back here and look at these lower lows and look at these higher lows on the momentum and look what ended up happening. Look at the bull divergence move on that. That bull divergence breakout, which was put Bitcoin from $57,000, it brought it up to right here on the high, 70,000 from 57. So it was a nice $3,000 move. Now we're in the same boat. We have price action coming down. We have the volume momentum putting in higher lows. Are we going to get a $3,000 breakout? I don't know. But what I do know is that generally this puts in a nice bullish momentum. Now, add to the fact that this week we're supposed to get bullish news, and it's a conference in Jackson Hole that generally is positive for the markets. Add to that SPY continues to climb higher against everyone's expectation that we're gonna crash, that we're gonna hit the bear break test, that we're gonna roll over, we're gonna put a lower low. It broke through that, it broke through that, it broke through this one. It breaks through everything, puts in higher highs, but everybody wants to be gloom and doom posting. Is it gonna roll over one day? Yeah, I'm sure it will. But my point is that everyone has been calling for these low targets, this crash, and the market continues to do the opposite of what everyone is calling for. Do you see what I'm trying to get at, guys? You have to stop listening. Well, better said, you want to listen to the sentiment, and you may want to start doing the opposite or thinking the opposite of what the sentiment is telling you. Because the sentiment of the market, of the players, are usually wrong. Because that sentiment puts the market makers in a very good position. That sentiment means everyone's shorting here. Market makers are blowing you guys out. When everybody starts getting uberly bullish here, the market's going to blow you out doing this move. So the sentiment does matter, but you just want to make sure that you don't follow the sentiment. You follow it in the sense that you want to understand what they're feeling, and you want to do the complete opposite, because that's what the market's doing. Unfortunately, that joke that I told you guys last week, where S&P goes up, Bitcoin goes sideways, S&P goes down, Bitcoin goes down, it's playing out once again. S&P is doing great day after day after day, and Bitcoin is not that great. Bitcoin on the daily continues to go down and down and down. However, the momentum is going up. So as people are capitulating, the market makers and the whales are absorbing it. They're absorbing all of those cells that everyone's capitulating. So at the end of the day, it ends up being a very good. Sorry, this is the wrong. This one right here. It starts to tell us a story that we may see, and now what I'm expecting is a move higher. Now, how much higher? I'm not being unreasonable, and I'm gonna give you the factual data. I'm not calling for higher prices because I feel happy or I'm excited or I have hopium. No, I look at the software, the tools that I have. I showed you guys this last week. I posted this on my timeline. Go look at Wednesday and Thursday of last week on my timeline. Look at what we did yesterday, over the weekend, excuse me. Over the weekend, we came and we knocked out that cluster. There's that cluster we're talking about. $60,250. There it is. It's taken out. Market came back down. Now we have this other cluster here. Why do you think the market came down? How do you think longs were looking here? You think everybody's getting bullish and longing? Yeah, probably so. And the market dumps it, liquidates those longs, and now we have this next cluster here. So while people like to get bearish and position themselves that way, the market is going to do the opposite. And you are feeding your fear and your excitement feeds the market makers. Look at this big cluster here that was produced on this drop. This is at 58,964. That's the top of this cluster. It went all the way to 49,000. Excuse me. Here it went all the way to 56,000. And look, climbs up, has a move up, puts a low, a high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, climbed his way right back to it. Look at that. Right to it, and then comes back down. Then goes all the way up to the bottom of that cluster as if it's going to hit it for the second time. And what does it do? Comes back down, makes people continue to short, which adds to this cluster. And slowly but surely they come and on a quick candle, they take it out and then they come back down. And what do you think it's doing to this cluster here? It's only increasing the liquidity. As more and more people short, it increases the liquidity higher. That's why I like to follow the money. That's why I like to follow this. If you guys want access to this, send me a DM and I'll give you guys my referral code. You guys, I believe he has a 3-day free trial. You guys can play around with it for 3 days. Check it out. See if you like it. And if you want to make it permanent, you sign up for the permanent membership, which is really minimal per month when you consider the amount of information and the value that you get understanding where the liquidity is, where the market makers like to go after, and you can look at all different times of time frames. This particular one is on a 1 week look back. You can go back to like a 3 week look back and you can see a different story. And you can see the story that I'm telling you guys about my $50,000 target. Why am I talking about 50,000? Why am I full of fear? No, I have no fear. My decisions are based on data, not fear. So what I do, excuse me, let me start scanning. Let me go back here. Let me go back 3 weeks. Let me show you. So once that liquidity up there gets taken out, and I'm hoping that it doesn't have to happen right away. Generally it does. So you heard what I said, right? Generally it does. So usually it does, if that's a better word to use. Usually it does. And if it does, then I'm going to say, okay, we knocked that out, but now we have a massive liquidity cluster, $300 million here at 50,000, which makes sense. Which makes sense because, like I talked about last week, very rarely do we see Bitcoin have a V-shaped correction. Coming back down, knocking out some of the liquidity, some of the stops, the $300 million that are down here, makes sense. It makes sense. Maybe even sweeping the lows here and then go for that top of that range again, back at around 68,000. And the more that we reject off that line, the lower the target gets, because this is a downward sloping channel that as it gets lower and lower, these targets get lower as well. So the next move up to the top of that channel is probably going to put us in the high 60,000s, where before we were in the low 70,000s. Until one day when we do break it and we backtest it and we hold, we can start thinking about all-time high. Until then, we're not allowed to, because there's no data. As an analyst, you're not allowed to think all-time high. There's no proof of that. You're looking at the charts. Nothing here tells you we're going to all-time high. Everything here tells you that you're going to go about in this range here, and we're going to reject. Let me show you the range real quick. Let me show you that range. So all the data points to one thing and one thing only. Points to the fact that we're going to go somewhere in the high 60,000s, and we're going to reject. And until that changes, and it hasn't for the past 5 months, until that changes, then we're allowed to look for higher targets. Then we're in the possibility of breaking all-time highs. All right, guys, I just want to give you guys a quick update for today. For the intraday trading, what I'm looking for is this. For the intraday trading, here's that cluster. Here's the heat. This little shaded area is the equivalent of this shaded area here. That will, I don't want to bring it up again, but you know what I'm talking about. In the DCT trading liquidity here. And the reason I'm using this one over high block is because high block has a static view, has the accumulative view. This one I'm using the dynamic view, the real time, what's still active, what's still there. So what's still there is this cluster here. So even though we're seeing this dropping down, and it doesn't guarantee we're going up here, but that's my play for now. Doesn't look all that great, but when I look at broader markets, they're screaming. They're screaming. We got bullish news coming up this week. Markets are loving it already. This just needs time to catch up. Until it doesn't. Until it invalidates. Can this invalidate? Sure, it can invalidate. You start breaking these prior lows? Yeah. Okay. Now we're starting to come back to that range that I've been trying to establish since we lost it. So let me get rid of this down-sloping channel. And let's get back to this channel that I've been trying to carve out that still hasn't confirmed. That's from that drop that I've been talking to you guys about. Then we start talking about going down to here. But I think that the chances at the moment, the way they stand right now, is that we're going to go higher at some point before we go lower. But I am expecting lower, but I'm not expecting doom and gloom. Hope this helps you guys. I'll be back to my regular time, like I mentioned, tomorrow when I'm back at my office. For now, I'm still on vacation, but I am heading back home today. Everyone have a really good day. And if you guys want to join my Telegram channel, $25 a month, just go, you can DM me and I can give you a link to join it. So you can go to the website, you can sign up there and join the $25 a month Telegram group. All right, guys, have a good one.